Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we today? Beautiful out, isn't it?
Phil needs to move somewhere. He ain't on camera.
Are we all right there, Brother Pat?
Let's do it.
Okay. Get up here, boys. Come in a little closer. Sweet. That's the name of the song this morning. Ready? A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning. Glad y'all are here. Beautiful. Y'all are so pretty. I mean, y'all are just so pretty. That's just really, well, Tommy's looking over his shoulders who I'm talking about. and this is kind of sad. Now, Benny and Suzanne make this place available to us, and y'all got them all crowded over there in the sunshine. Y'all all took the shade and stuck them over there to suffer. That's just not right. But anyway, maybe the shade will get... Maybe the shade will get to them in a minute too. So, great morning, beautiful. Isn't it not beautiful? It was nice and cool for a walk this morning, and just a gorgeous day to be out here. So, thankful for that. I think in about 10 minutes will be time for Teresa Lott to get here. Keep an eye out for her. I want to thank everybody who worked really hard. Oh, wait. First things first. Only once a year do you get the opportunity to sing Happy Birthday to the most prayed for woman in America.
Correct.
Yesterday, Martha Weathers turned one of those with a 0 on the end of it. Am I not right? And in that year when she was approaching that, she kept the pea patch as clean as it's ever been kept. I'll talk about the pea patch in a minute anyway. And because I'm fairly certain that key people in her life forgot her birthday yesterday.
Wrong.
You did? You remembered?
I remember.
Okay.
I'm alive this morning now.
Did you get another chainsaw?
No.
I didn't get a tractor.
No grade break, no tractor? Well, anyway, let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Martha. Happy birthday to you.
You even sang that sweet, Larry. That was nice. Appreciate that. Talk about the pea patch. We wrapped that up. A lot of these folks, Myra and Gwen and Deb and Mitzi, they just picked, and I think it wound up being over $1,200 income they raised this year for the Haiti ministry. So they just did a fantastic job. Am I on it all? Okay. And so thankful for that. They picked yesterday morning, got done up there, maybe 6:45. At 8:15, Larry had bush hogged it. He don't want them coming back.
Absolutely.
Don't come back
No
to my
more
pea patch
pain.
anymore. So pumpkins are really looking good, so really grateful for that. Don't forget our tip bucket. We're doing a lot of incredible things in the world right now. Many of you, well, actually probably none of you remember last week, just 1 week ago today, we started this whole thing to try to get this handicap accessible van for Trinity Robinson, really for his grandmother Boot, and in the space of a week with $22,000 that's come in on that, and people have already been stuffing money in my pocket this morning, so just a really mighty act of God going on there through some really generous people like you. Thank you so much. I haven't done the crunch the numbers, but as near as I can tell, just did some brief thinking this morning between this gathering and the other gathering. Something like half of that $22,000 has come from folks like you. So this is really spectacular. But today, one of my friends over in Sheffield reached out to me yesterday. His neighbor is a self-employed painter. She's 57 years old, independent contractor, so she has no insurance, no recourse for unemployment, no disability. She's come down with a pretty severe neurological disorder and can't work. And he said, Pat, is there any way that the gathering would be interested in helping with that? And I said, that's right down our alley. So the Tip Bucket this week will be going to help out with that lady. So thank you for your generosity and all the ways you touch folks. In your prayers, please remember our folks down in Haiti. They're really, really struggling. I was messaging with Ciliana, who's our young friends in nursing school yesterday, and she's real reluctant to ask me much, but I asked her questions, and she said, I asked her when the last time was that she ate. She said Wednesday. So we got some rice money down there as quickly as we could, but just a real struggle going on in Haiti. So in the midst of all our struggles, please pray for those folks. How's Haley? Better? Billy and Suzanne's daughter-in-law Haley is going to have a baby any minute, but she also has COVID, and but coming along with that. So we're grateful that's improving. Y'all got anything? Tommy James over here standing up because he's 85% on his back, and we need Tommy to be whole and healthy. So it was so risky for him boating over here this morning. They had to bring John Malone to keep the boat balanced. So grateful for that. These guys got some. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something. Somebody told me something this morning. Whatever it was, it'll come back. Let's be thankful for Kel and Parker and Larry and Tim and their grace coming down here and sharing this music with us. And let's listen closely because they got some sounds this morning that we really need to hear. Let's do this.
All right. Tim picked out the songs this week, and I let Parker play one of them yesterday, and it's the first time he'd ever heard it. And then he played it this morning, and he told me just now that he forgot it. Now we may have to back up 2 or 3 times to start this, but that's okay, ain't it, when you're in the learning mode, and we all are. So do that one first, though.
Can I point out?
I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Can I point out?
Yes.
Wait a minute. I just want to point out that there was a little stopping and starting last week too. What happened?
No. That was just a minor thing. This is bad this week.
All right.
All right, let's all meet one another this morning.
And you feel it in your bones. Change is coming on. Living the life, seeing the light. And you feel it in your bones. But now, you think it's taking shape. Reach out, put your hand. Make a friend if you can. Walk by you, my friend. Ain't kind of understand. Live without it, we don't want us to stay. Reach out, put your hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out, touch your hand. Make a friend if you can. It's perfection in the attitude.
Okay, here we go, folks. Let's begin this worship. Y'all done reached out and touched enough this morning? Surely. We can talk after we get through, can we, Pat?
Amen.
All right, now we're going to get back to the song we don't know. So we're going to try it, but we have to start it a couple of times. Set the pace like you want it, Tim.
All right. So, thought about this song this week, and you know, I don't know about y'all, but about Wednesday I start practicing a little bit, looking forward to coming on Sunday because I like what it's about.
Amen.
I like the purpose, the things we do, and I like the folks that come too. So
Whoa.
let's have a good time.
What about that? You remember?
Shall we gather at the river where bright angels read and run? With its crystal tide forever flowing from the throne of God. Yes, we'll gather at the river, beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows from the throne of God.
Yeah, Parker.
I think they ought to give him a hand, don't you?
Soon we'll reach the shining river, and soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with a melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river, at the throne of God. Yes, we gather at the river, beautiful, beautiful river. Gather with the saints at the river that flows from the throne of God.
There you have it. That's where we're at. We're gathering, that's the river, aren't we, Pat?
Amen.
Talk to him, Tim.
I did. Get over here the right one. There it is.
We're playing Thursday night at Presbyterian Towers in Huntsville for it's a retirement old folks, low income place. We've been playing over there for 20 years. If y'all happen to be in Huntsville, drop by and listen to us. It's the band that guys I've been playing with for years. They came up here a time or two. And they assured me they're going to try to get on schedule and start coming back once a month. But I heard that like 6 months ago. So maybe we'll have them back there. Go ahead there, Timothy.
Yeah, I've been working on this song for a while, and I don't know if y'all ever listened to that CD called Brotherly Love, but it's Bradley that's in a wheelchair, and one of the Isaacs, and Jimmy Fortune, and they do several songs, but it had a little bit different beat to it. And I've been working on it because I really loved the song. I thought it was a real old song, but it actually was written since some of the hymns were. There's a lighthouse on the hillside that overlooks life's sea. When I'm tossed, which sends out light by my sea. and the light that shines in darkness now will safely lead me home. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, my ship would sail no more. Now everybody lives around us. They all say go on, tear that old lighthouse down. We all know the big ships don't sail this way anymore. There ain't no use that old thing standing around. Then my mind goes back to that old stormy night when just in time I saw the light from that old lighthouse that still stands there on the hill. And I thank God for the lighthouse. I owe my life to Him. Oh, Jesus is a lighthouse, and from the rock of sin He has shone a light around me that I might clearly see. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, where would this ship be? I thank God for the lighthouse. I owe my life to Him. For Jesus is a lighthouse, and from the rock of sin He has shone a light around me that I might clearly see. If it wasn't for the lighthouse, tell me where would this ship be?
You ready, buddy? I remember what I'd forgotten earlier. Two things. First of all, Tim didn't have his clothespins this morning. They bagged them up for him real nice last week to take home, so he'd have them ready to clip his pages today. And he showed up this morning with an empty bag, and evidently Teresa got him out to hang stuff up around the house. And she's not here this morning, so I'm kind of worried about him, you know. So let's get Tim and Teresa prayed up that they'll get past this clothespin issue and continue to be the beautiful couple they always have been. Yeah. And also, what I really remembered, we got some good friends, Danny and Kathy Kerbickle. I don't know if you know it, but you helped buy a smoker. You know, one of the big fundraisers of the Presbyterian Church. They smoke Boston butts and chickens and bolognas and all that kind of thing, and they turn that into thousands and thousands of dollars in mission giving. But the source for the smokers had kind of dried up, betrayed us, and so forth. It was the government. Anyway, so bought a new one. And the problem was it was in San Antonio, Texas. You gave $1,000, by the way, to have it buy it. And Danny and Kathy picked it up yesterday in San Antonio and started back. And last time I checked on them, they were getting 8 miles to the gallon. So we might have to do a tip bucket to get some fuel before long. But I did think about that. And it's kind of hazardous driving. And they're coming in from Baton Rouge today all the way home. So keep Danny and Kathy in your prayers, please. And that thing is a monster. We're going to feed everybody in North Alabama out of that bag. Oh, another thing. Last week, Pastor Paul had COVID last Sunday, and I left here and went to preach up at the Presbyterian Church, and those people are rude. They didn't even introduce me. Darndest thing I ever saw in my life. Let's pray. God of grace and mercy, we give you thanks and praise for this stunningly, overwhelmingly beautiful day. We thank you for the deep love you've given us and for the opportunities that you've presented us to share that. We ask that you help us to live into that more and more fully, joyfully, and graciously, freely giving what we freely received. and then it will be something that the world would love to have. And we won't be holding any grudges. We won't be making any judgments. We won't be condemning. We'll just be joyfully living this good life you've given us. What a gift that is. Help us to lay hold of it as never before in this hour. Thank you for this place where we get together, this beautiful place, and these beautiful souls with whom we fellowship, and the ways that well, we take it for granted. Please forgive us for that. But in a miraculous way, you touch pea patches and pumpkin patches and people that gather here, and you've reached out all around the world with love and tenderness and had good news. And in a world where so often bad news dominates every news, help us not to take for granted ever again what you've done in and through us. Help us to be humble servants of yours and find ourselves in that place as your children where everything gets right. You know us better than we know ourselves. You know that our hearts are heavy for some folks that are sick, for some that are grieving, some that are recovering from surgery, some that are dealing with issues of stress in the spirit or in the wallet. And we just ask that you help us to find a way to be fully involved and always free at the same time. Yet another miracle that you pull off in our midst. You also know that part of us that we don't always look at. You know our cracks, you know our shortcomings, you know our frailties, and you know our sin. And you love us like nothing else matters. If we can just do that, going from this place, every song we sing, every prayer we pray, every phrase we utter will be surely worth it, because it will be the word that you've given us in the living water. Here's our cup, Lord. We lift it up, Lord, and come and quench this thirsting in our souls. Bread of heaven, feed us till we want no more. Here's our cup. We lift it up. Now make us whole. And our friend Christ, I do pray. Amen.
You know, I've been married 40 years, so I know how to get along, but I remember where I saw my clips this week. It's on tater chip sacks. I'm going to have to get them back up again.
Pat mentioned love, and there's prayer. And free finger, please. I've done this song several times down here, but it's all about love, and what a better place this would be. And it's a John Prine song. It's one of my favorites. And this is what it's like. And I'll just start this one rough. G. Woke up this morning to a garbage truck. Looks like this old horseshoe run out of luck. If I came home, would you let me in? Fry me some pork chop and forgive my sin. Surround me with your boundless love. Pound me with your boundless love. Drowning in a sea, lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. Sometimes my old heart, like a washing machine, bounces around till my soul comes clean. When I'm clean and hung out to dry, I'm gonna make you laugh until you cry. Surround me with your boundless love. Find me with your boundless love. Lost at sea, lonesome as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. If by chance I find my grief falling from no jagged cliff, I look below and I look above, surrounded by your boundless love. Surround me with your boundless love. Confine me with your boundless love. Drowning in the sea, as lost as I could be, when you found me with your boundless love. You can find me with your boundless love. You surround me with your boundless love.
Thanks, Larry. You never sang that down here before, but I'm glad you did today. And I just want to tell you, among other things we're so proud of here, it ain't every church that gets this John Prine tune on Sunday mornings. And it's hard to believe the world has come to a place where people don't use John Prine songs in worship services, but he did it right. Martha, can you tell if I'm in that camera frame? Because last week, evidently, I wandered out of the frame and somebody, what's that? No, I'm not going to use that word, complained about it, and you'd think it was bad enough they could hear me, but they wanted to see too, so I'm going to stick with that. There goes another toe.
Yep.
See one every Sunday, don't we?
Yep. You was out of the frame.
Do what?
You was out of the frame.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back in mine though. All right, oh yeah, okay. So today, I'm going to share with you from a passage in Luke, right at Luke chapter 12, right at the end of chapter 3, verses 54, 55, 56. That's 3 in a row, right? And it's one of those passages that you know, it didn't make me to say a lot of the Bible really speaks to us in our time, but I think it really speaks to me. And it starts out, Jesus is confronting with having a confrontation. That ain't uncommon, you know. And he says, you people amaze me. Now I'm putting some words in his mouth there, but you get that feeling in what he's saying. He says, you can look to the west, and if a cloud comes up, you'll say, might be a shower coming. You know? And he says in the 55th verse, he says, and if the wind comes up out of the south, you'll say, whew, gonna be a hot one today. You know? And then he says, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it's exactly what he said. But the Son of Man is sitting right in front of you, you don't even see him. Talk about the signs of the times and the signs that we need to be looking for. And now, poor Jesus, he lived before Doppler radar and 25-minute weather forecast on the evening news and all that kind of stuff. And he lived in a world where people lived outside, and he used the example that was best available to him about how it is that day by day we've learned to see things and predict things and accept things just because of the ways that we've lived them, right? And he's saying, you know, that's to be expected. You know, he wasn't criticizing them for that. You know, he said that's to be expected when you live in this life. If you hang around with somebody long enough, for example, you might know that they're going to take you clothespins if you leave them somewhere unguarded. You know, that's how life teaches us. And so he wasn't criticizing that. In a way, he was saying, take that kind of knowledge that you have and apply it. And so he said, for example, there's something special right in front of you, but you don't see it. Now, again, that was 2 millennia ago, and I got to thinking about how he would teach that if he were here today. And I don't want to be too bold, and I don't want to put any words in Jesus' mouth, but I do want to tell you that it's pretty easy for us, I think, to get distracted by the things that we see coming up in the West, for example. You know, there's constantly a storm that's brewing out there that can threaten us, that distracts us, that gets our attention, that pulls us away from things that we ought to be looking at otherwise. There have been many times where I thought the best thing that could happen to the world was that all the news people of every blend, every flavor, every leaning, whatever they call that, if they just take a week off, you know, where we wouldn't have to listen every hour of every day to some other storm that's brewing in the West, because it gets our attention, it causes us to worry, it brings in stress, it creates despair, and even worse, ultimately worse, it separates us from each other so tragically, so incredibly. And we find ourselves at the end of the day knowing not which way to turn. I know the newsmen, if they had their say, they'd say, well, if the preachers would shut up for a week, the same thing might happen. I'll go first. You know, I'll gladly go first if by what we are doing, how we're living, the things we're presenting, the issues that are confronting us are so overwhelming and so distracting and so stress-inducing and so divisive that they dominate who we are and what we're about. And in the midst of that, you know, is it possible that we get so focused on those things and the worry becomes so deep and the despair becomes so great and right in front of us there's an alternative, you know, that we simply don't see? What if Jesus showed up and he said, you people push the button. I started to say click the knob, but y'all don't know what that means. You people push the button, and Lester Holt and Brett Baer and Sean Hannity and whoever else is on the list, they get your attention, and before you know it, they've. Oh, by the way, that's before we even get to the politicians, you know. And before you know it, they've created a perfect storm that dominates your thoughts and invades your consciousness and hurts your peace. But the antidote, the need, the hope is right in front of us and we don't see it. Well, sometimes things get hot, don't they? That storm, that wind that comes up out of the south where they say it's going to be a hot, you know, every 4 years when I was a pastor, I almost quit. I almost quit every 4 years because I knew what was coming. Folks are going to be gnawing on each other and jawing at each other and disagreeing with each other and ultimately despising each other to the point where they couldn't be around each other, and it was anything other than what God intended the church to be. I'm not talking about the rest of the world. I can't control that. I can't control anything. But that south wind that would come up and it manifests itself now. It seems like I started to say weekly, but daily. You know. And it's scorching us to where we feel parched. We're so thirsty for living waters. We flail around trying to find our way out of this suffocating mess that we're in. And it may be right before us is the deliverance, the healing that we've been looking for. You see, here's the thing. Those storm clouds in the west, that is west, isn't it? Those storm clouds in the west and those debacles on our devices, they're big. They really are. I'm not going to tell you they're not. They're big, and they're made to be bigger than they are. You know, they're huge. They make noise. They create chaos to such a degree that they threaten to dominate everything. They're big. And those hot winds that come up out of the south, they're big, you know. If you'll just make the right decision, you know, a Messiah will be before you, you know, and as mayor or governor or president or king or something, you know, they're big and they have great consequences for war and peace and health and wholeness and prosperity and big. As a matter of fact, they're probably too big. And one of the greatest scandals that I can possibly imagine sharing with you, I need to share you this scandal. That we, people who follow after God in the way of Jesus, believe that he came to us as a zygote. Not big. Jesus didn't have Madison Avenue on his side. Not big. Jesus didn't have a Wall Street financially backing him. You know, not big. He didn't have armies or legions that could put force behind his words. Quite the opposite. I know we've been to Sunday school and we've got a couple of centuries of building funds in our background and all that talk about Jesus can do anything. And when we usually say that, we're talking about what we would want to do. But he was a homeless preacher. And I know we've been taught to think that Israel is the center of the universe. It was a backwater when Jesus went there. Nobody. Pilate got assigned to Jerusalem as punishment. You know, nobody wanted to go there. It was in that environment that somehow we're here today because of that. And it wasn't because of the big, it was because of something so dramatically special that it couldn't be quantified. It could only be experienced. Big storm coming up in the west, hot wind coming up out of the south, and I got a text yesterday from a friend that said, I was just thinking about you. I can't even begin to tell you how much better I felt. The friend that said it probably forgot it. But right in front of me, the Son of Man. A week ago, when Mitzi and Boot asked me to get involved with this whole van thing, you know, and I really didn't know if I wanted to hop into it, but on Tuesday morning they came to Fat Cats and they met with me and they laughed and they talked and they just assumed. What audacious faith! They just assumed it was going to happen. And right in front of me was the Son of Man. You see people with blue thumbnails from shelling peas or blisters on their hands from hoeing pumpkins or tears in their eyes because they could not feed somebody hungry and all of a sudden you realize that right in front of you stands the Son of Man. Somewhere. Talk about a backcountry. Talk about a forgotten place. Somewhere in Alabama. Backward. Last in everything except football, Alabama. On a rusty old barge at a way too early hour on a Sunday morning, week after week, folks reach out and touch a hand because they know there's a never-ending love and they can let go of their fear of the storms, their dread of the heat, and smile and cry and celebrate. Because right in front of us stands the Son of Man. Who would miss that?
Never-ending, boundless love. Thanks, Pat. I've got a never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I wanna do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd have a never-ending love for you. See, boy, after all this time of being alone, we can love one another, live for each other from now on. Yes, we can. And it feels so good, I can hardly stand it. Never-ending love for you. From now on, that's all I want to do. From the first time we met, I knew I'd sing my never-ending song of love for you and all of you.